20th of May 1498, Vasco da Gama had landed at Calicut. And the primary reason why he came in is trade and commerce. If you look at the historical records, you would also find the Moroccan explorer and the scholar Ibn Battuta also mentioning Calicut as one of the best ports across the globe. Now, centuries later, this got centered to Mumbai and later to Dubai and several other places across the globe. And Calicut lost its prominence. Fast forward, and I was surprised and shocked when I listened to a study, rather a survey conducted among a lot of youngsters who said 2 out of every 3 have already decided to leave Kerala, in fact, Calicut. So I'm just trying to connect the dots from a history of rich tradition of trade and commerce. We lost its relevance. Today, we also don't have youngsters staying back or trying to explore, remaining back in our own home state or Kozhikode for that matter. And it is in this background that I find the significance of the massive investment and the confidence that the HiLite Group has shown to set up probably world's largest World Trade Centre at Calicut. A warm good evening and a welcome on behalf of the Calicut Management Association to Ajil Muhammed and also to everyone who have gathered this evening. I just wanted to point out a couple of statistics. You can correct me if I'm wrong. HiLite is building India's largest World Trade Centre, probably one among the largest across the globe. You can correct me if I'm wrong, which is around 12.5 million square feet. How many of you have been to the Burj Khalifa? It's going to be 3 times in terms of the area bigger than the Burj Khalifa. For those of us who've been to HiLite Mall, I'm sure most of you have been at HiLite Mall, it's 13 lakh square feet. And this project which Ajil has visualized or is ambitious about is 10 times the size of the HiLite Mall. So you can imagine possibly the kind of magnitude at which HiLite has thought about this project. Given that statistics, I just wanted to give you an overview of what HiLite has visualized and what is it in their mind. Let me begin with the fundamental question. The theme is building global Calicut and the lessons from the World Trade Centre vision. What are you visualizing through the concept of World Trade Centre? What all can we expect over there?
So firstly, good evening everybody. Thank you to CMA for having me here. Thank you to everybody for having me here this evening. I wish I had a little more energy today, but this is the first time I'm coming straight from the sick bed, straight to the stage. I've been sick for the last 2 days, having a little fever here. So I wish I had more energy than the audience here. I think a lot of people, very senior people are here with much more energy than a youngster like me here in the audience. And I think I wish I had more energy today. But unfortunately, I'm not able to get that energy out because of the sickness in me. So forgive me for that. And speaking about the vision of World Trade Centre, like you mentioned clearly, it is the world's one of the largest in the world, and it is indeed the largest in India, in the country. And it is not my vision, of course. I wouldn't take the entire credit for the WTC vision. It is a team effort. It is a team effort. It is a collective effort. It is a collective vision which we have for Kerala, especially for Calicut, which is why we have got the largest World Trade Centre to the city. Like he mentioned in the introduction earlier, and the MC mentioned earlier, that Kozhikode or Calicut used to be a trade city earlier, back in the day. Even I think most of our childhood, I think everybody used to know Calicut as a trade city, right? So I think we wanted to bring that back. We wanted Calicut to place on the global map with something else. I mean, we cannot convert Calicut, or when we were thinking of how we can place Calicut on the global map, we cannot convert Calicut into a industrial powerhouse like Jamnagar is, or any other cities in the Indias, right? So we were thinking about what can be done from our side, because we are not a government. So we are a private company. As a private company, how can we put a city or a town in a global map? So that's how we came across this World Trade Centre, and randomly a discussion, can we get World Trade Centre license first of all? We didn't know that. Yeah. We were not sure who is, can we bring as a private developer based out of Calicut, if we can get a license, we were not sure about that. So immediately we went and searched on ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, everything, and we found a couple of numbers across. And then we quickly dialed those numbers, mailed this association. It's a World Trade, just like how CMA is, World Trade Centre is an association. It's WTC Association, WTCA. So it's a multiple association, multiple members across the globe. I think 350 plus members, and one member is like basically Dubai is one member, US, New York is one member. So in that way, I think 350, around 300 to 350 members are there in the association, and we immediately approached them, and they said, you can apply for license. This is the form, just apply it. When we looked at the form, I think it was around 60, 70 pages of form. It's a huge form. We were including our balance sheet, everything possible, including our we started HiLite 30 years ago by my father, 30 years ago. So right from 30 years journey, we had to mention it in a small form, quick note. So everything has to go through the form, and then we applied to the form, and we shared the vision. We didn't know what WTC we wanted to bring in, what change we need to bring in, what kind of infra we need to build, what is the demand here. We never thought about that at the beginning stage, but later we developed what needs to be designed, what needs to be brought into the city, what is the requirement. And then with the architect, the chairman's team and our team built, quickly listed what is required for the market. Like for example, residential was required when such a huge IT office spaces is coming in. Residential is required. A huge multiple convention centers, exhibition centers are required. We need a huge office spaces, educational spaces was required. So we wrote down every possible amenity, every possible things which has to be included. Then we calculated the area which has to be allotted for each spaces. Then we calculated the entire area. Then we were ourselves shocked to see that it crossed 1 crore plus square feet. And then we checked with the agent, the consultant and the association of WTCs. We asked them, is there any WTC with 1 crore plus in India? At least South India, is there any WTC with 1 crore? They said no. Not even a single WTC in South India is close to 1 crore, not even half. Not even 5 million also. So then we said, okay, are you going to give us a license in case if we say that we are going to build this? Then let's see, you just applied it. It has to go through a board process, and they'll go through all the forms, all the documents, all your balance sheet, all your financial side, everything, and then they'll approve you with the license. And then, okay, we said we'll take the risk, and as you know, HiLite is known for that, taking much risk and going way ahead of its time. So we applied with all the things, with all the drawings, everything, and we gave the schematic drawings, everything to the board. And then it went to, there's an Indian board, the Asia Pacific board, and then it goes to the international board of WTC, which is the headquarters in New York. So then it went to New York, and then we got the approval, and then we have the license, official license now. And then, that's how it happened early stage. The vision was visualized that way. Even we never imagined that we would be doing 12.5 million square feet of WTC alone, and it is going to be the largest in the world. We never imagined so.
So I understand that you did your schooling at Good Shepherd at Ooty. Later, you went to Singapore for your undergraduate. After graduation from Singapore, you came back and then joined IIM Bangalore for a course on real estate, and then you took up. So how has this academic journey and kind of pan-Indian and global exposure shaped you as a person?
So I did my schooling in Ooty, Good Shepherd, and then earlier I was studying in here in Calicut. So then I moved on to boarding school in Good Shepherd, and then like you mentioned, Singapore and Bangalore. I am yes, it has helped me quite a lot because early exposure to international level and corporate. Because so even when I was in Singapore, I think I used to spend some time, take out some time to visit some expos and interact with maximum number of people across wherever I could. And even at school level also, I mean, Good Shepherd, I was fortunate enough to have classmates and of different business empires across India. So I used to interact quite a lot with them, understand what their business did, how their HR policies did, how their father or their, most of them were from third generation, fourth generation, large empire, like lot of them, lot of business empire, which we had earlier heard about. I was fortunate enough to share classrooms with them. So, yeah, that helped me quite a lot to understand at the early and get an early exposure to that.
Yeah, I understand that your father, way back in 1996, started off as a contractor in construction, and it was a 50 square feet office space from which you started at Kakkad in Malappuram. From there, now when you turn back, it's 30 years, 2026, and from a 50 square feet, now the scale at which you are speaking is quite unimaginable. But I think what makes him extraordinary as an entrepreneur is he's the first in many things. I'll just list out quickly. The first mall in Kerala, which is the Focus Mall in Mawur Road, and which also taught people of Calicut how to use an escalator, because that was the first time in Calicut we had an escalator. And he brought brands like Max. Max is very common these days, but for the first time they brought Max to Calicut. I think it was way back in 2007. They first introduced the ready-mix concrete in Kerala way back in 2001. First community living way back in 2009. First international bachelorette, IB school that's also another vertical that they're working. So Sulaiman sir is certainly a man of vision, a man who thinks about future. And I think from what I've read, you've 13 malls in the pipeline, and that too in unimaginable places. It's not just in the metro cities. So how far has your father influenced you in not just becoming an entrepreneur, but probably if you could recollect some early, your childhood days where you first saw and you really got inspired by, what your father envisions?
No, I cannot lie if I say that. I think it will be a lie if I say that I'm not influenced by my father. Yeah. But I think many of you know him personally here. So his character, I think everybody knows. He's a risk-taking man. So and business, it's all about risk-taking. I strongly believe that. So unless you take risk, you cannot grow. There's no growth unless you take a risk. So I think, that has influenced me quite a lot. Fearless risk-taking ability in business. That is the most influential thing, if you ask me. And to keep family aside, together, no? Because I feel he's like like a godfather in the family. So even though he's one of the youngest siblings in his family, but he keeps the family alive. We have around, more than 25, 30 members of the family in the business today. Okay. Today. I had my youngest sister joining us yesterday, officially. So he keeps the family together. So I think that these two things are the most influential thing. And throughout every dining table discussions, we talk business. So,
okay. So from what I've read, I understood that there are at least 6 or 7 different verticals. So let's go one by one. So what are your real estate interventions? Because in several of your interviews, you mentioned you do A to Z in real estate. Can you just tell us what you do?
So as real estate is a core business. It is still a core business because my father started as a contractor in 1996 and we still continue with that. So we have 3 contracting divisions, companies, plus we have an interior division. MEP division also. We have a MEP company, and when I say that backward integration, I meant by saying that we have a brick manufacturing, we have a RMC plant, we still have that ready mix plant, even though it closed back then, but we have reopened it and we still run a ready mix plant now, ready mix company, and so yeah, we have right from manufacturing to we have a trading company, so we trade all our materials, everything. I mean, most of the trading happens directly from factory to or manufacturing. We source it from the manufacturer. So yeah, that is also there. So then we have 3 developer companies also within the group. That's again a healthy competition which we have created amongst the within the group. So yeah, 3 developer companies. So real estate remains a core business yet. And yeah, we operate in a controlled environment.
You began your career as an executive director in the education vertical. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So education, we stepped into education in 2007 when we come from a place called next to Calicut University. So there was a school which was closing down, Ideal Public School, in 2007, I think, if I'm not wrong. It was closing down. It was in fact closed, and with a couple of, I think 250 number of students had no choice to leave to some other school. So then they came up to the chairman, my father, back in the day, and then that's how we entered. I mean, they said, why don't you take up the school, run it, because we are not able, the trust is not able to run because as you know, everybody knows that education is a high OPEX driven business or service, because I mean, main capital required is salary itself, no? So it's a huge amount required every month. So they were not able to, the trust was not able to run it. So we took over the school and then we stepped into this education field. And 2013 we started this White School International, and now we have these 2 schools, White School, and now yeah, we are expanding that portfolio of our education now. These 2 are running very well now in Calicut and Malappuram district, and we are expanding. We are in discussion with a couple of stakeholders across Kerala for taking over and starting new branches of White School across Kerala.
Another vertical is the food and beverage, F&B. Right. And there is an interesting story. You searched for bigger brands and then you ended up starting some. Tell us something about it.
So F&B, one of the main core brand in F&B is Hagamag. Yes. Maybe most of you are already familiar since all of us are from Calicut. So Hagamag Coffee Shop is, like you rightly mentioned, when we started Business Park, our tech park, we approached a lot of local brands, and back in the day, Cafe Coffee Day was a big player, national player. So we approached CCD. We approached multiple brands. Local Starbucks was not very popular. They were just entering the market to India, so they were not ready to come to Calicut back in the day. So, but we approached a lot of local brands. I don't want to mention the names. So nobody was interested in taking up the space in Business Park. That ground floor where you can see the Hagamag now, no? The same space we were offering to many people. Nobody wanted to take the space. So then we were forced to start a F&B brand, a coffee shop, a premium coffee shop, because we wanted public to come in, experience the tech park first, because that kind of office space, a large office space, was very brand new for Malayalis back in the day. I'm talking about 10, 12 years ago. It was very new. It was not like Bangalore. Bangalore is very common, but Calicut or Malayalis, I think, Keralites, I think it's very new thing back in the day. So I think that's why we started our own coffee shop. We entered into that. Now we have 13 outlets. We are expanding that also. So that is again a strong vertical for us now. We have a good team and a couple of other brands also under F&B now. One
more which you had added is the entertainment with the Palaxi. Tell us a little bit about Palaxi.
So Palaxi again, when many large players, international players saw our markets in Kerala as a very small markets, they underestimated our market. So we wanted to give the best and best of the best to our customers, to our people, because we knew the market. We knew our people are. I mean, in case if you get a consultant like a Cushman or anybody, get it surveyed here how the market is for premium cinemas, I don't think will succeed. And that's why none of the international players were willing to invest huge chunk of money in entertainment in Kerala. That's why we stepped in and we invested quite a lot. As you can see, you have many of you would have visited the theatre in Calicut. That was the first and the flagship one of ours. Flagship, and now we operate 19 screens at the moment. We wanted to give best of the best. That's why we started Flagship.
And your vision is to have 27 screens across.
Now we are operating 19 screens.
19.
250 is our target for next 5 years.
Okay. So another vertical very interesting is the hospital chains and the wellness center.
Healthcare. I think many of you know that after the new government change, new policy changes have been coming up. The government's primary three focus is education, convert Kerala into an educational hub, medical tourism, and port state. So these three are the main focus of a new government. So I think we don't want to miss that opportunity in medical and healthcare. That's why we've stepped into healthcare with the launch of L9. It's a mother and child concept. And then we are starting a woman-focused wellness center. It's going to be a woman-focused, but it's a wellness center for.
Is that again in Calicut?
It is in the border. It's next to our home. It is in the Malappuram district. It's next to the Calicut University. So that is going to be launched this coming week. Next
Wonderful.
week we'll be launching it next.
Have
week.
I missed out any vertical?
I don't think so. I don't.
Okay. Another very interesting thing which I find is the way they come up with ideas. From where do you get these ideas? Who gives you so much of a confidence and conviction to think which nobody else would have thought about? And what is that entire process? Is there a group brainstorming, or is it just you and your father who decides, or is it that breakfast conversations? How does these ideas evolve?
So you give us an insult, I think we'll have our business there. Like I mentioned, no, Agamaga was started that way. I mean, people didn't take up the space, so we started a F&B brand. So same way, I think maybe we operate in a way that we take quick decisions. I mean, my father has been telling me since the beginning that taking decisions quickly, that is the most important thing. Yeah. Take a decision and then make it. I mean, many of you would have visited his cabin. From day one, from a small 50 square feet cabin till today's cabin, he has kept that quote on the back. Okay. Take a decision and then make it right. So he truly believes, HiLite Group truly believes in that. Okay. Take a decision, whatever it is, and then make it right. There's absolutely nothing like right decision. So just take a decision and then you can fix it, and that's how we take opportunities. We take opportunities in a positive way. We see a lot of opportunities in Kerala. We strongly believe in that. We strongly believe in this market. So that's why we are entering into multiple things here.
And there are a lot of your flagship projects. I'll just list out again in the interest of the audience. Kochi, you have a Wellington Island HiLite Boulevard. Yeah. What is that a project, and how is it different from other projects? It's an open, you can explain it better. Yeah.
So HiLite Boulevard is again a waterfront 5-acre project. It's a retail project. It's a waterfront retail. It's I would say it's a different project because it's different not because it's not I think not just in Kerala. I have not experienced such a retail project in India. I've experienced it in Dubai, Singapore, but not in India. But it's a waterfront with entertainment, F&B, retail. These three are the core areas where we are focused on. Majorly, we have given, I think, weightage of 30-40% of F&B and entertainment also strongly. Usually in shopping malls, it's mostly 80% of retail and 20% lies in entertainment and F&B. And here it's an open mall. It's an open retail where people can enjoy, customers can enjoy it's a 500 meter waterfront on one side and 500 meters on the other side. It's a wide road. So it's a wide property, 5-acre wide property, as you can spend quality time with family, friends or anybody. So that's a different project, I think.
You keep referring to Singapore often in your conversation. I think one of the idea, I think you would have got inspired by Singapore Marina Bay Hotel, which led to this HiLite Olympus, if I may, am wrong, if not. Yeah, okay. So can you tell us a little bit about that project and what is unique about Olympus?
So Singapore, why? Because I think I studied there. I spent my 3 years there. So like I mentioned, I took all my time out to visit most of the projects there in Singapore whenever I could. So Marina Bay was the influence, I would say, inspiration
Right.
for the HiLite Olympus project, because HiLite Olympus was not supposed to be, the design was not supposed to be the one which all of you see today. It was supposed to be a single tower. It's not supposed to be divided into two. It was designed, initially it was designed into 1,000 units in one single tower. One single tower, 1,000 units, one single building, I'm saying. So it's supposed to be the largest building itself. So residential I'm talking about. So with a large recreational terrace floor, just like how Marina Bay Sands in Singapore has, no? I mean, that 3 towers are connected with one single cantilever. You can see that hanging out. So the same thing, same concept. We took inspiration from that, but unfortunately, COVID came. Market demand changed. Lot of things have changed after 2020. So we had to change. A lot of rule amendments have come up. So we had to change our design in order to get approvals. And then we split into 2 towers, and 1 tower, as you can see, it is finished now, and the second tower is going on. So that, like you rightly mentioned, Marina Bay MBS was the inspiration for Olympus.
Imagine an apartment, irrespective of whichever floor you are, you can park your car, and you can park up to 2 cars, if I'm not wrong. Tell us about that project.
Atlantis is one of our dream project. The work is going on. We're just waiting for the RERA approvals, all the approvals, initial approvals, the final approvals. So that is again a residential project of almost 180 units. And Atlantis is again a premium residential project where it is one of a kind in the world. Not in Kerala, not in India, in the world, where you can, like you rightly mentioned, 2 cars, you can drive all the way up to, in case if your apartment is on 20th floor, 18th floor, irrespective of whichever
There are service
floor,
roads.
There are service roads, there are highways on the sky. So we say that it's literally a sky villa and roads on the sky. So you can drive all the way up to your apartment and then park it. So yeah, that's a kind, Dubai or anywhere, US, Miami, you can see there are apartments where you can park your car in front of the apartment. There are projects like that, but it's using car lift. This is not using car lift. This is entirely using by road, internal roads inside the building. There's roads inside the building. Which is a very new concept in the world. And
who designed this? I know the story.
You know the story. I think many of them already know the story. So, yeah, of course, the chairman himself. So, that is again, he wanted that project to be different, because we wanted to place it in a way that it is a premium project, prestigious project of HiLite Group from the House of HiLite. So we wanted it to be very different. So he consulted with the design team, everybody in that kind of an approach. But yeah, he himself had to design ultimately. So.
Now coming to the philosophy of HiLite, that's something extraordinary which I found. It's not a set of core values which you find embedded on the wall. Their vision, in most of the conversation, they say by 2025 they wanted to employ 10,000 direct employment. Now they have another 5 years. They're expecting 50,000 people to have direct employment, plus another close to a lakh who would get indirect employment. What made you think like that?
So after a point, I think more than when you scale up, I think more than any revenue, turnover, or profits or anything, I think what gives you satisfaction or the kick, we say that this doing business is again like it's like an addiction. It's like a drug addiction. Yeah. The more you do, I think the more you want to take it. So the more challenges you want to take it. So HiLite, we strongly believe in that itself. It is again like an addiction for us. So that's why we wanted to operate in more and more verticals. Earlier you asked us, why, how are you entering more and more verticals? How are we operating? We have a strong system. We have a strong ecosystem in running businesses now. It has been 30 years of journey now. Fortunately, with everybody's help, I think with our stakeholders' help, we have reached to that kind of a level. We have a good system or a good ecosystem, a good number of people working for us. And currently, yes, we do have 10,000 people under our payroll now. and we want to expand that, and that gives us more satisfaction. And yeah, I mean, when
You're in fact touching the lives of people.
exactly, I mean, when we say 10,000 people under payroll, it's not just 10,000 people. I believe that one person, I mean, there are at least 3 to 4 people depending on one person's salary or income, right? I mean, one family. So 10,000 families is what we are touching on. And indirectly more and more, lot more. So I think that is what we want to focus on. We want to touch more and more people's lives. And yeah, I mean, when everybody grows, I think the company automatically grows, right? So that's the motto.
I remember when A.B. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, it became a cliched example. He quoted Varavelpu, the movie, the story of an entrepreneur, a Gulf returnee, how he struggled to build a venture. How has now, you being an entrepreneur and closely observing your father for the past 30 years, how has that perception, because generally business person or entrepreneurs are perceived, and that's how in most of the visual media, especially the cinema, portray them as a villain, right? Unethical means of making money. But how has that perception in an Indian, especially in a Kerala context, changed over the past few years?
I think it has changed. I mean, this is my 7th year officially after joining the business, and I think it has been changing now. I mean, I can see the positive change across, not just in government. I think even if we see public side also, the moment we step in with a new development or a new project in any market, any city or any place, I think the kind of acceptance amongst the stakeholders have changed quite a lot. Earlier, when we announced any project of the scale, that the kind of defensive response which we received is not the same at the moment. It has changed, I think. I mean, the positive attitude has changed, and that is why we are again and again investing more and more money and bringing more and more large-scale developments to Kerala. Right?
I had a very particular reason why I asked this question. When he inaugurated the Focus Mall, you had to put a net so as to avoid stone pelting from probably the unionism or whatever. And the way it was perceived that you are bringing in a lot of corporate brands to Calicut and is likely to take away a lot of jobs. Then from then till now, has Kerala become more investor friendly? How has the entire business ecosystem changed over these years?
I think a lot of people are seated here who are more eligible than me to tell about the changes of. I think I'm not focused on this. I think many of you can rightly mention what was the kind of response which we had received back in the day in 2006 and 7 when we were launching the first mall of Kerala, of the state. And now, yesterday, 2 days ago, we launched our 5th mall, Chemmad Mall. And the kind of response, I think the difference between Focus Mall 22 years ago and the response which we received 2 days ago in Chemmad, it's immense difference. I mean, you could see just the videos of the crowd flowing into the mall. That too, it's 3 lakh square feet, almost similar size, just a little higher than Focus Mall, and not like a city like Calicut. Chemmad is like a town. It's a small town. It's a countryside. Even we call it the mall as a countryside concept because we kept it as we bought the mall project to that Chemmad town. I mean, away from that proper town. So the kind of response when we open a shopping mall today and 22 years ago, that itself shows the difference in the people, difference in the attitude, difference towards the business enterprises. I think that answers more than my words, I think. Yeah.
I would ask something very personal. You're a second generation entrepreneur, and it comes with its own opportunities and at the same time a lot of challenges. It comes with the burden of legacy of your father. So what kind of challenges and opportunities did you have as an entrepreneur while you started off as the executive director and now you are the CEO in that entire journey of 6-7 years?
See, being a second gen entrepreneur, I would say that I'm privileged actually. To be honest, I'm very privileged to be seated here because unless if it had been something else, no, I wouldn't be seated here for a CMA event, having a fireside chat show. I think many of the senior leaders from the industries are here. I heard some of them telling me in the entrance that they have just come here for listening to me. I don't know why people have come here to listen to 27-year-old young boy. I don't know. So I think so I'm privileged in that way.
Yeah.
But I think when somebody is privileged, I think privilege is again what do you say? I mean, pressure is privilege,
Yes.
and it comes in the same plate. Responsibility, pressure, and privilege comes in the same plate. So you cannot take privilege and avoid responsibility. That doesn't happen that way. So when you have a privilege, you need to take up the responsibility. So that's what I've done. I mean, when I have a good platform given by my father, I mean, I shouldn't skip that and say no to a good platform. Say that, okay, I'm not going to come into this platform. I'll go somewhere else and build my own from scratch. Why I need not do that. I need not waste time in building a platform from scratch. Taking my own time, my own prime time of my youth. No, I think I can spend the same energy in the same already built platform of HiLite, and I can scale it in a much faster way. Yeah. That's how I have done it. I have chosen this path because I wanted to contribute in my own way, and I was lucky to have a great father like him because he has given me all the freedom to experiment and take my own decisions. I mean, he has never. I mean, right from day one. I've been privileged in that way also. So right from day one, he has never interfered in my any decisions, any business decision or any decision. He has never interfered. He has never questioned anything. Whatever decision I make, I take the responsibility. I need to take the responsibility. I need to give him the report as a chairman and the group CEO. So that's it. I mean, we operate in that way. So again, it's a privilege. Yeah, privilege and responsibility comes in the same plate.
In terms of marketing, I find probably Tata Nano is the only brand who in the initial years of their launch had never done any sort of advertisement because the product itself was something which was highly looked up to. I think that's the case with most of when you say World Trade Centre and people talking about it, you don't need to advertise much. But then there are very interesting stories where you advertise across Kerala and the deadline was 3 months and within 1 month you could finish all and then you had to change the entire banners and billboards by saying it's fully sold out, right? So I'm talking about your marketing strategy. Is there any very interesting story? What was your marketing strategy to sell your products?
No, every vertical has different strategies and every product. I mean, we launched. I mean, that one campaign which you're talking about was a particular campaign for a residential project a few years ago. And yeah, I mean, we got overwhelming response from the customers, which we ourselves didn't expect. So yeah, I mean, then we thought about, okay, anyway, we paid to the hoarding team members. We took a contract for 3 months or 4 months. So why don't we change to, I mean, instead of keeping the same poster, why don't we change to something else? Then this idea came into a picture. I mean, no developer has done sold out hoarding across Kerala.
All the 526 units were sold out.
Was sold out. I mean, we got a good response from the customer. So we thought, okay, why don't we change the hoarding, the design to sold out hoarding? And that campaign idea came up during that time. And WTC, we wanted to host a large event in Kerala, but unfortunately we couldn't do that. And most of projects happened that way. I mean, we want the product itself to speak to the world because we don't know what is the customer's expectation, whether are we going to meet our customer's expectation. In case if we don't meet the customer's expectation, even if we do all kinds of marketing, it doesn't matter. Yeah. If the customer doesn't like, so for example, if the customer doesn't like this product, customer will tell you on the face that, okay, I don't like this product. No matter what, I mean, even if Shah Rukh Khan comes and endorses this product, customer is not going to buy it. I mean, customer will not say that, okay, Shah Rukh Khan has endorsed this product, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to endorse this product. Nothing is going to happen. Maybe once they'll try it. But after trying, if the product is not up to the mark, for sure they'll tell on the face and the market. Social media is a powerful tool today. So I think we want our product to speak for itself. And that's why, I mean, we're kind of little scared to do over marketing and overhyping the product.
Just an add-on question. Keralites are there everywhere. You go across the globe, you'll find some or the other. I mean, there are several memes also which has come out of it. But then this exposure for a Keralite and the experience which they have gained globally has it raised the aspirations and the expectations of Keralites in terms of quality, in terms of standards that they compare it with global standards?
I think there are no customers like our Malayalis in the world, I think, because our expectations in any sector, any business, any product is very, very extremely high. Especially in real estate, if you compare markets like Delhi, Bombay, even in fact Bangalore also, you compare the product quality. I mean, the product quality, even if you take a top three developer of Delhi, for example, I don't want to take names, but top three developers of Bombay or Delhi, and you compare with any builder from Kerala, compare the product, you can understand the customer expectations of our market. And many large developers from the north have come, tried their markets out in Kerala, and they're miserably failed in our markets. Because why? Because it's not because they were not able to manage the bureaucracy or government or any issues. It's just because of the expectation which they were not able to meet. The cost is quite high in Kerala because the expectation of from the customer side is quite high, because we have a great exposure to great markets across the world, right? So that's why I think it is in fact positive also in the consumer market.
Right. Since you were talking about the Keralites' exposure, has land also become a constraint? Because, and I'm asking this question because a lot of the apartments, even though people buy, are still remaining vacant. I know a lot of my friends who've bought and either they rent it out or it's just an investment. So how has this real estate, especially in the apartment sector, what is the future of both apartments and also, since you're into malls, what is the future of shopping malls that you foresee?
So future of retail, we strongly believe that Kerala is a consumer market, because I always say that Kerala is again with the kind of urbanization happening throughout Kerala, not just in Calicut. I'm saying throughout Kerala, if you see, it is going to be a big city. Not just a state. I mean, any state. I would say any state apart from Kerala. If you see,
a single city with a lot of micro cities.
Micro cities, right? But Kerala is completely different market. Kerala is it's a big city altogether. I mean, you can't find any plain land or plain undeveloped area within 5 kilometers of throughout the journey. So I think that in that kind of a way, with the kind of exposure from all across the GCC and all the other parts of the world, we have a good consumer market in Kerala. And for organized retail, I think there is still a good market in Kerala for the next decade.
But I also ask this question because there are a lot of experiences like Gold Souk in Cochin, Oberon again in Cochin, and then Spencer's retail outlets. A lot of these malls were closed down, despite starting with a lot of campaigns, marketing. Why do these malls fail?
So I think some few malls fail. Why? Because one is brand mix. Location is I wouldn't say that location for Oberon or Gold Souk is a bad location, but good location is extremely good. But the main reason why these malls have failed because brand mix. And why I say that earlier when we started Focus Mall, we primarily gave most of, I think 90% of the area we marked for retail. That's not the case when we started the mall which was opened yesterday. We had a mix of mainly, I think we dedicated 30% of area of the entire mall space to F&B, and 10 to 15% of almost close to 20%, that is total 50% of the area of the shopping mall is dedicated to F&B and entertainment.
Okay.
So that's the kind of brand mix what I'm talking about. So we want to focus whatever shopping malls we are bringing in. At the moment, a family wants to spend in a shopping mall not just to shop for a shirt or a trousers or a clothes. It's not just that. I mean, when a family walks into a shopping mall, they want to spend time, a quality time, a family time. Maybe the kids want to spend some time in the entertainment zone. Maybe the elderly wants to watch cinema. Some wants to eat, have food, dine out together. And preferences are completely different. That's why we have a food court where everybody can have meet their own preferences and have together in one dining space. So I think that's the kind of change in shopping malls which is upcoming, and we have a lot of sports facilities also being integrated into this retail spaces in our upcoming malls.
Okay. There's also a general tendency in Kerala blaming the entrepreneurial or the business ecosystem for several reasons: trade unionism, government interventions, raids. Have you ever? But I've never heard any such narrative, which coming from a group like HiLite. So, have you also encountered such challenges in this growth journey of past 30 years?
I think if I say no, I think it will be a lie because it's all management association members seated here. And to overcome and tackle these situations, we have such associations, right? We have associations like CMA. A lot of associations are there to support each other, support our enterprises. And challenges are there everywhere. Any state you go, I mean, a lot of people have been doing business in other states and other countries, I believe. So I think challenges are there everywhere you go. I mean, but I think it has been reducing drastically in Kerala. Like I mentioned earlier, attitude has been changing. That is the main core. It's indeed a satisfaction for enterprise point of view. So that is a positive thing. It has been a positive atmosphere now to do business. And last 2 years, we've been the number one state in ease of doing business in India. Yeah. So I think that has been changing. And over time, I think people have realized that without enterprises, I think the state cannot grow. Enterprises have been contributing to a large percentage of our GDP and economy. So I think and a large percentage of our employment, and we need to bring in our youth back to our state. So enterprises, we need to support them, and people have realized that at the moment.
You mentioned bringing the youth back to the state. So if you remember, last 5 to 10 years, there has been a mushrooming a lot of study abroad institutions. But then last few years, you get to see a drastic decline in them. Now, there is a tendency of reverse migration happening. If I may ask, are you trying to encash on that reverse migration with all these bigger projects?
Firstly, let me just ask, is there any study abroad people here? So, yeah, I mean, that has been changing. I mean, recent surveys have been showing that there is a huge reverse migration which has been happening towards the state. A reverse migration in the sense that people have been, earlier people used to move out of a state. Yeah. Now people have been coming back to the state, and more people from other parts of the state wants to shift to Kerala and settle down in Kerala and do business and work here. That's why we have a lot of Fortune 500 companies, lot of companies, GCC companies, global capability centers wants to set up their offices and their facilities here in Kerala. And that is where we are encashing, and we are setting up, we are just being a catalyst there, where we are being a catalyst to those companies where they want to set up an infrastructure. We're just providing a grade A space for them. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
We're just bridging that gap between the workforce and the companies.
Now, in terms of the infrastructure, there has been a drastic improvement in the past 10 years. I think from Trivandrum to Kozhikode, the vision with the new NHS to reach within 6 hours, that's the road infrastructure. I've heard around 10 or 15 years back, CMA had hosted an event in which the head HR had come, and he said, I would never opt for Calicut because I cannot go and come back from Calicut within a day. At least 3 days I have to. There is no same day flight. So airport is a problem. We can't have bigger flights here. We can't have bigger flights landing here. Road infrastructure was a problem, which things have changed. So, but in terms of the overall infrastructure, since you work across Kerala, what is the infrastructural change that you would want to happen, which is still not happening?
So, of course, when we are talking about from Calicut, I think Calicut Airport has been a constraint. But I think it will change. I mean, once we have a demand, and recent highway is a game changer, I'm telling you. I mean, that highway, opening up of the highway, I think that has been a very big game changer, because we didn't realize that the kind of potential which has been unlocked in the market throughout Kerala, I'm talking about, and some of the work is still pending. So once that is completed, a huge business opportunity is going to unlock in front of us, and it has been slowly unlocking in front of us, which we are not even realizing. Right. So that again shows, and like I already mentioned earlier, that government's focus for the next 5 years is going to be a port. they're primarily focusing on developing a port city, converting Kerala to be a port city, like how Seattle or Dubai or Singapore or multiple countries have turned out to become. So I think that kind of infrastructure developments will come into Kerala too. And I think it's just a matter of time which we need to give to the people and the stakeholders, and I think it will come to our state too.
Grade A commercial space is something which you've been working on all your projects, and you could have done it in Dubai, you could have done it in Hyderabad, Bangalore, any other city. But why in Calicut? Then what is it? Just your emotion to the city, or is there any other reason? The potential that you see here in Calicut.
One is mainly, it's emotional for sure, because again, the satisfaction which you get when you build a tech park like this in Bangalore, I don't think you're just one among the 100 tech parks in Bangalore.
Yeah.
When you build the same thing, same facility, same kind of infrastructure, what you get in Dubai or Bombay or Bangalore in our state, that's a kind of satisfaction or that recognition what we get. That, like I mentioned earlier, it's again a drug addiction kind of a thing. It's an addiction. The more and more such projects when you get in, that's why we are bringing in more and more projects, international standard grade A spaces to Kerala. And plus there is a feasibility study which we have done. Of course, we don't want to invest and waste a big chunk of money lying down. So we have done our research and our study for sure. And as I mentioned, Kerala is a growing state. Next decade is definitely going to be Kerala. There's a huge business opportunity which is lying and being unlocked slowly in front of us, which we are not realizing, which we will soon realize in the coming, I think I would say maybe next year, 2027 is the year I think which we will realize the business and the opportunity, the potential which will be unlocking from the Kerala market. I think we'll soon realize that, and we don't want to be too slow to that, and that's why we are aggressively expanding throughout Kerala with multiple developments scheduled and planned and pipeline.
One criticism which I have, you can correct me, is that you're not into manufacturing. You're trying to bring in as many services as possible, which is kind of, it's minus the blue collar job. It's still a white collared elite that you're targeting.
See, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. To convert Kerala, like I mentioned, into a manufacturing powerhouse state, it is practically not possible because the labor cost is quite high. Who are we competing with? China.
Yeah.
We can't compete with China. It is nearly impossible to compete with China at this stage. I'm talking about at this stage or any other state. In fact, if you compare a neighboring state, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Telangana, the kind of cost which is involved, the kind of land which is available, we cannot compete that kind of a thing with Kerala. Yeah. So we cannot compete that way. And instead of complaining to people, complaining to ourselves, saying that okay, we cannot do manufacturing here, we cannot do manufacturing. Why don't we try? Why don't we explore what we can? Dubai is not a manufacturing powerhouse. Yeah. Yet it is one of the top cities in the world. Yeah. In the same way, Singapore is a top country in the world. It is not doing manufacturing. They hardly have any manufacturing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's just branding which happens.
It's just a branding which they have. Singapore doesn't have hardly any manufacturing, hardly any products which is coming into Singapore or Dubai is manufacturing within that region. So same way, we shouldn't complain that manufacturing side, and we should focus. We have a good, very extremely capable, extremely good workforce which is available in Kerala, where we need to tap in. So we have a good manpower, which any company, any top company you see, there is a huge Malayalis on the top, right? And it is very indeed true, because we have a good that mindset and mind force, that workforce. I think that is where we need to focus on. That's why we want to bring in large companies. We want to bridge that gap between the workforce and the top companies. Yeah.
So among the 7 towers that you're bringing in, one is in education, one is exclusively for, and being from academics, I have a personal interest to understand what exactly would happen there, because last week we had 4 universities, foreign universities, 2 from UK, 2 from Australia, getting permission to start their campuses. Is that something like that which is going to happen in the education tower which you have envisioned here?
So that's a sample tower which we have already done. It's again 2.14 lakh square feet of World Trade Centre's first tower. learning park. It is going to be completely leased out. We are just building the infrastructure, and we'll be leasing out to only educational institutions like you rightly mentioned, like a foreign institute. Or so Yenapoya, as you could have seen hoardings across. So they are opening in August 2nd, first week. So yeah, I mean, all kinds of education. We are only targeting education institutions in that tower alone, and that's a sample tower which we have done, and we have received a great response from all the institutions across the country. And we also have a couple of foreign institutions who have put up an interest. So we'll be building more and more infrastructure just for educational institutions.
Yeah.
And we want to convert Malabar or Calicut into an educational powerhouse of the globe.
Which already has a huge
Which
potential
already- exactly.
with IITs, IIMs,
Correct.
NIT.
We have never utilized our IIMs and NITs and our institutes, and I think we have a lot of other institutes supporting those major institutes. I mean, you are from the background, so I think you can clearly know that. I think that is where we want to bring in. We want to create an infrastructure for a lot of these campuses, foreign campuses, national institutes, and we want to bring maximum institutes to Calicut and surrounding region. We have identified a couple of lands for that also, and yeah, we want to convert Malabar into a educational powerhouse of the country.
Yeah. To make it a dialogue, I'll just wind up with one last question. Do you have projects only in Kerala, or do you have projects abroad and or even in other states?
So at the moment, our primary focus is in Kerala, but we have discussions in other parts. But our primary focus is in Kerala. So we have set a large vision for Kerala as we complete 30 years today. This year, we have set a large vision for. I think introduction they mentioned about the investments which we're making. We have a large vision of 5 crore square feet, 50 million square feet of developments across Kerala. Just the Kerala projects which we want to build in. That's why I mentioned aggressively expanding. We are aggressively expanding in multiple portfolios: residential, commercial, retail, hospitality. We are starting a couple of hotels which is missing in the city. So we are starting a couple of hotels in 5-star hotels in city and across
one
Kerala.
more vertical.
Sorry, one more vertical. That's I told you my sister joined yesterday. So we have already. I mean, she'll be taking over that vertical. So hospitality vertical we have already too early to say, but we are already in discussion with international brands. 3 hotels will be starting in Calicut. 3 different kinds category hotels. Yes, hopefully we'll be starting in the coming years. And couple of other verticals also. So 50 million is our vision for next 5 years, and we want to achieve that with the support of our stakeholders, and I think we will achieve that because we are very sure that Kerala is the market for next decade, Kerala's decade, and we are very confident in the market. The kind of response which we have already received is quite high, and we are very confident. Yeah.